Greetings, movie fans. It's Nathan, and I'm here with Jessica, and it is time for It's a Classic, our podcast, Dad and Daughter, where we sit down and we watch the movies from 1973 to 1999, the movies that I grew up with as a Gen Xer talking to a Gen Zer. Do these movies really measure up, and are they a classic? Jessica, how do you feel like it's been going lately?
I feel like it's been going really well.
So you've had a lot of fun doing this.
Yes, I am really, really enjoying this.
Okay, cool. So far we've done, this is our third episode.
Yes, we're getting in there.
It's interesting because now we have found ourselves, we've actually got the next episode kind of ready to go to record after this one. And that was just kind of a fluke that we found.
Yeah, we happened to be just sitting there. We were like, you know what? We're going to do this one.
Yeah, we're going to do that. So, but first, this actually came from your mom. Your
mom
wanted us to watch this. We were sitting there one night.
Love you, Mom.
Said, and you know from the, if you've seen the title of the episode, you know, we're going to be doing one of those ones that when you think 80s movies, you think of this one.
It's a staple.
It's a staple. And I really want to hear what you think because this movie, you know, it's one of those ones that's in like a time capsule.
Oh,
it really is in a bubble of a time capsule where you kind of wonder when you play it for the first time, you're like literally like, okay, what are my kids going to think of this? Because it's just a movie. And that movie is Footloose. Woo! Yes, that's right. We are going to be talking about the movie that, well, it didn't really make him a star, but it put the Baconator really on the map. Kevin Bacon.
Did you just say the Baconator?
I did. I called him the Baconator. That is what I call him.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, so we got Kevin Bacon. And you know what? I don't even have to explain the plot. Everybody knows the plot.
Everyone knows what Footloose is.
You got this Midwestern town that has outlawed dancing.
Which is actually based off of a true story.
We did find that out.
Yes.
It is based off a true story. Jess went and looked it up for us.
I did. So, it was based off of... here we go. Based off a small town, I believe, called Elmore City in Oklahoma.
That was in Oklahoma.
It was in Oklahoma in 1898.
1898. Yeah. It can't happen after the movie.
In 1898, they banned dancing in an attempt to cut down on heavy drinking amongst young people, and remained for about 80 years until
80 years?
Yes, until a group of high school or teenagers campaigned to change it for their prom in 1978.
So it took all the way to 1978.
Yes!
That's amazing because the year that they petitioned to dance, I was alive. And that's actually the year your mother was born.
Weird.
Yeah, your mother was born the day that the high schoolers won, or not the day, but the year that the high schoolers won the right to dance. And of course, you know, all dancing leads to drinking. And,
of course, you know.
Of course, drinking and all sorts of lascivious behavior, and that is what we know from the movie Footloose. But Jess, okay, I gotta ask. Okay. You've heard of this movie?
Yes.
You've heard
all
of
my
the
life.
song because you've been to a million weddings.
and dances and
the theme song by Mr. 80s soundtrack theme song himself, Kenny Loggins.
Yeah,
you got Kenny Loggins who created the genius song, who wrote the genius song for Caddyshack, I'm All Right with the Dancing Gopher.
Oh yeah.
He comes up with this one, Footloose. He writes The Danger Zone. I will argue best soundtrack theme song in the 80s was Danger Zone. Yeah, the Loggins, man, he was all over. So we got the Baconator and the Loggins, and I do have something to say because music is such an important part of this movie.
Yes.
This was the first tape I ever bought.
Really? I did not know that.
You didn't know that?
No.
I rode my bike to the Kmart.
Maybe I did know this. I don't know.
To the Kmart in Loyalsock Township in Pennsylvania, and I saved up my money and I bought Footloose.
Do you still have it?
No, it was a cassette tape. Interesting trivia. What was the first CD I ever bought, you know?
It's in the back of my brain.
You should know this.
Yeah.
Bon Jovi, Slippery When Wet was the first CD I ever bought. But Footloose was the first cassette tape I ever bought. And so, all of my own money. And so, I played that thing till it died. I mean, literally played that thing till it died. And there's a lot of great songs on it. But as a Gen Z, 17 years old, you know, you've heard this the theme song over and over and over.
I love this song, actually. It's one of my... it's up there in my, I guess I would say my top 50 songs. I love this song. Top 50
songs? It's a good song.
It's a fun song. Like, every time I hear it, like, I've been to prom and, like, homecoming and stuff, and every time I hear it, I'm always, like, excited and I can never learn the dance.
Yeah,
I've tried so hard.
There's not really a dance with it.
Wait,
because
there is.
There's a dance
Yes,
with this song?
yes, it's like Cotton Eye Joe, but funky.
Oh, that's new, because there wasn't a dance when I was a kid.
I think it was
came on.
it was a TikTok thing.
Footloose came on, and you cut loose.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I do. I just dance to it because it's a fun song.
Well, it is, and I admit that is a good song. But let's talk about this movie.
All right.
This movie, you got Kevin Bacon. He is the wild city boy coming in with
crazy.
that glorious hair. That he has.
Oh my gosh,
that amazing hair he has. He comes to this small town. Do you remember what the name of the town is? Trivia time.
Why do I want to say?
You don't remember the town, do you?
I'm gonna cheat.
Oh, Jess is doing her research now. Yeah, he comes to this town, which Jess is going to find the name of.
I'm going to try to.
You should have looked this up ahead of time.
I know.
Yeah, because I told you needed to be ready for this.
I have other facts loaded.
You have other facts loaded, but you don't even know the name of the town. Okay. So you have you have this movie where
Elmore City. I was right. I was going to say Elmore. I knew it was Elmore.
It's not Elmore.
What?
Elmore's the name of the real city. It's Beaumont.
Sorry. Beaumont. I got too excited.
You got way too excited. So he comes to Beaumont. He's living with his mom. We know that something has happened with his father. That they had to. There's a divorce. Or his dad ran out on him, and so they come to live here. And the first time we see Ren, he's at church.
Yeah.
With the pastor who's railing against the dangers of alcohol.
Interesting sermon.
Well, it's funny because this movie came out like those kind of sermons. I heard those, not necessarily from the pastor of the church I went to, but you heard those things growing up in the 80s, like the Satanic Panic and how music.
Ooh, Satanic Panic's a good. I've always loved that. Like the whole it's so interesting to me.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was this thing that kind of went on, and rock music's evil and everything's bad, and you kind of have to avoid it, and that's what we got here. But Ren shows up. He's obviously an outsider right away because we know what. What does he like?
Music.
Well, he likes music, but there's something else. What's the very first? Do you remember what the very first sign we see that he is not going to fit in here?
He likes the book
Slaughterhouse 5.
Yeah, Slaughterhouse 5.
He likes Kurt Vonnegut, and they're trying to
Vonnegut.
ban the book. And and immediately when he says it's a great book, so
they all look at him weird.
How did you feel about the teenagers in this movie?
Well, they race tractors. Sorry, no, they do jousting with tractors.
No,
so
they
that's
do chicken with tractors.
Sorry, chicken with tractors. So that's one thing about that. This is really different from our last episode. Our last episode, I felt like, okay, these are real teenagers.
Yeah, they come across like real teenagers.
This is Broadway. They're 23 playing a 14-year-old. Ain't no way that a teenager's acting like that.
It's probably older than that. You've got like everybody's in their mid-20s.
Yeah.
They are they're playing the role of a high schooler, and I love what the fact is Ren comes from the big city of Chicago.
And he's so like, wow, he's
so
crazy.
Cool. He's so crazy. He drives a VW Bug and listens to Quiet Riot,
He drives the same kind of car that my friend wants. Like
your friend wants? It's like an old Bug?
Yeah.
But what I love about what really was cracking me up, and I saw this movie back in the day, and I haven't watched it that much. I mean, I've watched it a lot when I was a kid, but I haven't watched so much then. But as an adult sitting there, things stand out to me that are just really hilarious. Like, here's supposed to be this pinnacle of innocence in Beaumont, and Ren gets there, and what's like one of the earliest things we find out? People are trying to sell him weed.
Yeah, like it's...
and it's like immediately, no, city kid will smoke weed. And so he's constantly getting in trouble as being called a troublemaker, but it's all the kids around him.
Yeah, they're pushing it on him and being like, trying to make him do stuff, and then he's like, no, I'm not going to do that, and then they get caught.
Tractor jousting, or tractor chicken, which is...
Incredible.
So much in this movie
glorious.
I mean, you've seen the plot. You know that Ren comes to town. The pastor's daughter is the bad girl.
Of course, like we always are, because all pastor's daughters are...
We all are.
I am a...
You're a pastor's daughter.
Train wreck.
She's in there with her painted-on jeans, walking around.
Okay, speaking of jeans, you know what I just found out?
What's that?
So with his pants, they would make them intentionally tighter so he could, like, dance. They would put on the jeans for him, and then they would pin them and sew them so they were tighter.
Well, how does that help him dance?
I don't know.
That's weird.
It was, yeah.
That was really
I
weird.
just saw that, and I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. That's really weird. Sorry.
And you're a costume person in, your,
Yes.
in theater.
And I would think you're gonna give them like some straight leg jeans that are like have a lot of movement, maybe some stretch in the like elastic in the waist. No, you're gonna what?
Yeah, this is the 80s. We got to make them tighter because you can't have Laurie Singer beat you in the tight pants. Laurie Singer playing the pastor's daughter. You can't have her beating you in the tight pants category.
I don't know. Did you know that Madonna almost played her?
No, I did not know that.
They were considering Madonna for the role.
Ariel,
yes.
daughter of not so Little Mermaid with her tight pants. Kevin Bacon's name is Ren, and how cool!
I love that name.
I'm Ren, and I'm
not with a W, but R-E-N.
Not with a W, with an R. This movie's got all sorts of people. We've got Kevin Bacon, Laurie Singer, Sarah Jessica Parker's in this movie.
Yeah.
So if you're a Sex and the City fan, or you know her from just so many Hocus Pocus, so many other movies.
I love Hocus Pocus.
John Lithgow plays the Reverend Shaw Moore. That sounds like a reverend who's also a gunfighter. I'm just going to put it out there.
He sounds like a country sheriff.
Yeah, he does. He was Lord Farquaad in that's Lord Farquaad.
What?
Correct. You didn't know that?
No.
Yeah. And
in the movie?
In the movie Shrek, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
John Lithgow is so well known. I mean, you haven't watched as many movies, but he's a esteemed and distinguished actor. I mean, he was in Howard the Duck, for crying out loud.
Haven't seen that one
yet.
Yeah,
you don't need to. But no, John Lithgow's amazing.
Yeah.
And you know, this is something I liked about it. How did you feel about the pastor part?
It's funny because I can still relate to that today as seeing that. Like, there are so many, like, videos that I'll see of pastors who are just kind of getting... It's hard to explain. Like, that kind of, like...
Let me ask you this way. Do you think he's a bad guy?
I don't think I think he wants what's best.
Yeah.
But he's going about it the wrong way.
But he's also, and I felt like this, he's also a guy who's willing to learn.
He
right?
is.
Because about halfway through the movie... Right after they do the whole book burning scene,
yes,
you have this scene where everybody's getting mad and they're burning books at the library, and he comes in and he stops them. You realize that he's willing to be open and learn, mostly at the urging of his wife, who's played by Diane Wiest.
I love her.
She's awesome. She's so cool.
Is amazing.
She's awesome, and so. And you kind of see this facade kind of crumbling because he finds out that his daughter is very familiar with the boys in the town
and listens to music. How dare she?
And listens to music. But it was also the reason why he did this is because it was his son who was killed in this horrible accident where they went dancing and drinking and rock and roll, and that's what caused the town to do this. But
which it's quite a sad story, and that
in that regard it is.
Yeah, when they reveal that, you kind of go, oh, like this makes sense. He's hurt.
He's upset. He's hurt. But let's talk about the music.
Yes.
Let's talk about the
music. I would love to talk about the music.
Do you consider this to be a musical? You're into musicals. You love musicals.
Yes, I am a big theater kid. The closest it would get to would be a jukebox musical. So like your Mamma Mia.
What is a jukebox musical?
So it's when you take kind of these more modern songs, say like Mamma Mia. That's an entire musical based off of ABBA songs.
Okay.
So it's gonna take or like Moulin Rouge.
Yeah.
So it takes these songs that are already kind of done and turns them into a musical with a storyline. So I think that's gonna be the closest you're gonna get, but I don't consider it a musical.
Okay, so I don't either, and this is why. Though it is, people do talk about it being a musical. Here's my problem. In a musical, because you guys just had a great one at your school, Addams Family did awesome. In a musical, there are musical numbers, right?
Yes.
And musical numbers in a musical are very much a part of the dialogue of what's going on.
Yes,
right?
It carries a story, and it is crucial to have those moments with the music. Yeah. It's not like you can cut all the music out and take it. And with this movie specifically, yes, the music is an important part, but it's okay. Here's like I think about it: if they don't know the music's happening, it's not a musical.
Okay, so interestingly enough, I have a different take on that.
Okay.
I think if they don't know the music is happening, it is a musical, and that the music is just a medium for them to communicate what's happening. Okay. Because they never acknowledge that they're singing. You don't go see Cats or Wicked or the Addams Family, and they get done with the number and they go, "Oh, that was great singing, Gomez." They don't do that.
Yeah.
Right? They just transition into spoken dialogue. However, in this one, during the infamous rage punch dance, right? Which is, in a sense, you could say, well, this is kind of like a musical. He's out there. This could be symbolic of his anger and his frustration that he drives out to the grain elevator and smoking and drinking, and then all of a sudden it turns into
all I can think about is Hot Rod. I'm sorry.
I know, Hot Rod spoofed it perfectly. But you got this perfect, like, choreographed scene. And if they just did it, and it went back to him in the car, just kind of frustrated, and Lori Singer, the daughter, walks up, the pastor's daughter, but she acknowledges that he's been dancing. She comes in the room and she's like, "Woo, you look," and I'm thinking, okay, so as an impressionable child, this is the issue with this movie. And as an impressionable child, this movie convinced me that when I was angry, if I danced, I would be cool, right? Did you just snort?
Yes.
Okay,
because
so
I imagine like 7-year-old you in your backyard,
try middle school,
or middle school. Sorry, just like got music blasting, and your poor mom just being like, "What?"
Try the middle school bathroom when I was alone and somebody'd been picking on me.
No.
Had the music in my head. Can't dance at all. You know what? I am confessing that in front of the 15 people who listen to this, that yes, I personally at least twice tried to punch dance out my rage in the bathroom.
It's fine.
Actually, it was 4 Mile Elementary. So it was elementary school. It was 5th grade. 4 Mile Elementary in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, Loyalsock Township. I tried to punch dance out my rage in the bathroom.
You know what? If it makes you feel better, you almost caught me doing a choreographed run through of a song from Mean Girls today.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, but here's the thing. She comes in and she's just blown away by his moves.
Apparently, I mean.
And let's be real honest.
You love that. Go for it.
You know that every warehouse is set up with a high bar and a essentially a gymnastics setup where he can
swing perfectly.
And my favorite is the silhouette of him running across the windows, and he's got his arms out, and there's this perfect, like, obviously not him, but that's probably where they needed the tight pants. It's not a musical because of that. It's not a musical because they acknowledge the songs. It is granted, in the dance scene and the bar scene where they're out there, that's acceptable because they're in a venue where music is allowed. And even though Kevin Bacon puts on the tape for his punch dance scene and he's dancing to it, the fact that she comes in and acknowledges it can't be a musical then. In fact, she should be mocking him.
Bully! She should be sitting there going, "What are you doing?"
She should be bullying him.
Yes.
But, he's Ren. He's from Chicago. He's big city boy.
He's a cool guy.
He's got the tight pants. And, he's so cool that he befriends the local tough guy cowboy fellow student, who, by the way, both of them are gymnasts.
Yeah.
Did you catch that?
Yes.
Yeah, Chris.
Why is gymnastics I was expecting like football, soccer, maybe even like water polo.
Well,
gymnastics?
You have to explain why he's a good dancer. But you have Chris Penn, brother of Sean Penn, who has passed away since then, who has played a lot of great roles as a cop and in True Romance, and he played a gangster in Reservoir Dogs, and he's just known for that. But here he kind of plays this yokel,
goofy,
sweet cowboy, goofy kid who can't dance, and that's one of the most famous portions of the movie is Ren trying to teach his friend to dance, and I'm blanking on his friend's name. Willard, that's right.
Willard.
He's trying to teach Willard to dance, and he gets his cousins involved in it, and everything's really cool. And it's this little funny montage, one of probably several.
Hundreds.
But the whole point, this movie comes down to this. We want a senior prom.
We want a senior
prom. And we promise you that we will not engage in the drinking and the sex. We just want a senior
prom. What did
prom.
he say? Something. What was it? It was something that you giggled at, and I can't remember what it was.
I giggled at a lot of things. I mean, here I am, almost 50, watching this movie going, wow, what was I thinking?
Yeah.
Like, what was I thinking that this was so cool? I now understand the lens that my dad watched this movie through. That's the thing. And
that's
so
weird.
It is it not? I'm sitting there thinking, okay, now my dad wasn't 50 when this movie came out, but I'm like, okay, now I'm watching it through the lens of him with my child going, oh my gosh, this is
I'm gonna
ridiculous.
have to do that one day. And it's gonna be
fun.
it's gonna hit the switch.
You know, you get this. What plot? The plot is we can't dance. We want to dance.
We gotta dance.
I'm going to throw some Bible verses at the city council. Pastor's going to, listen to his wife, who's going to go, stop being a stodgy stick in the mud.
It's very funny because I have a brother who is very knowledgeable on the Bible, and immediately before Red opens his mouth, he starts like he's gonna say this one, this one, and this one, and he knows them, and I was like, oh, okay.
Interestingly enough, that scene was actually the acting in that scene of him being nervous was because he truly was nervous.
Yes,
he didn't like public speaking.
He broke out in hives because he hates public speaking,
and he just kind of rushed through it. He had to get out of it. He doesn't like it. So.
Which is funny because
acting.
he's an actor.
Well, he's an actor, but it's a different kind of thing.
Speaking of method acting, did you know that he actually went to a real high school undercover?
Yes, I did hear this.
The only people that knew who he was were the principal and the guidance counselor. And they introduced him as Ren.
And he ended up leaving early,
yes,
right?
he was so tired of it by the end of the day that he just left early.
He was just so sick of high school.
Yes.
I mean, if he's like 25,
yeah.
he's so sick of high
school.
He
said
leave.
He got bullied, and a bunch
he did?
of yes.
Was he wearing the tie?
I don't know.
Oh, that's the other thing is he wears that tie.
The kids were like harassing him, not like bullying him, and the girls were like, "Oh, he's so cute."
And so finally, he just
left. He was like, "I'm done."
That's so funny. Well, okay, so this movie was directed by Herbert Ross, who was not. This wasn't like his first movie. I mean, he had some names, some titles like Goodbye, Mr. Chips, Funny Lady, Goodbye Girl, Pennies from Heaven, which was a terrible flop with Steve Martin, just a really creepy movie. He had Footloose, Steel Magnolias. Did you know that?
I love that movie.
He directed Steel Magnolias,
which
I think is interesting. His last movie, his final film, was Boys on the Side. He actually passed away in 2001 at 74. But Footloose is one of his. It's not more well known than like Goodbye Girl and all those. But for an '80s kid, that's your exposure to Herbert Ross. That's the one you're going to think of. We're going to sit here and we're going to say stuff, and people love this movie. They're like fanatic. This is probably the most fanatical movie we have had looked at so far out of the three. This is the most fanatical because I know that guys my age, when they were asking us about what we were doing, I said, well, we just did this episode with My Bodyguard and One Crazy Summer, and they're like, we don't know those. And so now we throw, and I was really kind of surprised that we went so well known so quickly in here, but it was on HBO, so we watched it.
Yeah, it was, because...
Yeah. So this I don't think this episode is going to be as long because everybody knows this movie so well. So
it's so like growing up, teachers, parents, friends' parents reference Footloose.
Footloose, yeah.
And it's everywhere.
It's just the dance movie of
it is. And
the
before
80s.
I even watched this movie, I knew the whole plot line. I knew about like what happened, who did what.
Well, and I think that has to do with the fact that it's kind of like a pop culture meme, right?
Yes.
Footloose is. Jimmy Fallon spoofed it by having Kevin Bacon do the prom scene dance and all that. Every the hot rod thing, that's just absolutely hysterical. I mean it's just so like ingrained in our minds and our culture. It's not something you're like discovering you already knew. Your thoughts.
My
gut thoughts. Because it's a classic. And I promise you that I would say the majority of the people that we know who might listen to this, who grew up in that time, are going to tell you that it's a classic movie. What do you think? Gen Z, if this movie came out today with no background, with no reference, and you went and saw it, would it be a classic?
I think so because of how crazy the idea is.
Okay, so like, the bonkersness of the idea, right?
And like I love dancing. Like this is a movie that's like right up my alley because I enjoy this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But like I think even if you don't enjoy dancing, even the slightest bit, like it's a fun movie. Like it's genuinely, I sat through it and it was fast and I was able to sit and not get bored to the point where I wanted to stop it.
Okay. Yeah, for me personally, having seen it now, I don't think it's the classic that I remember.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just yawned.
She just yawned right into the microphone. Try not to do
I'm
that
really sorry.
next time. I don't think it's the classic I thought it was going to be, or I remember it being.
Well, maybe that's just because that's the version you have with you is, like...
the 5th grade punch dance in the bathroom version.
Well, like, when I go and I watch a Disney Channel movie that I
Uh-huh.
grew up watching, like Lemonade Mouth or something, and I'm going to watch it when I'm older, and I'm going to realize, oh, this is not what I remember it as being.
Yeah, the music, classic.
The movie, yes, absolutely.
The movie would not be what it is without the music. The music is what makes the movie. The music is what holds the whole movie together.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have Footloose without that music. And, even Kevin Bacon, I don't think he could pull it out without the music that we got from it. And so I'm going to go was a classic, maybe not so much anymore. And I think it would probably play better for now as more like a midnight movie.
Yeah.
Kind of like a cheesy midnight movie, maybe like Rocky Horror, the kind where you can dance in the aisles and do things like that. I feel like Footloose could actually be a midnight movie. So.
I believe, was this made into a Broadway show?
Yeah, they did, I believe.
Yes, it was this one.
Yeah,
I've definitely, I think I wanted to go see this one. It was, yeah.
Yeah.
They're starting to do that a lot. They're starting to take movies, because they've got Back to the Future just got done.
Really?
Yes, yeah.
Oh,
I believe...
crazy.
It's either finished or about to finish.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Or has not started yet.
I don't know how I feel about that, but
I want to see it.
Yeah,
but they did
might
like
be
King
cool.
Kong. They did Back to the Future. They've done Footloose.
They do movies and they translate them into
crazy
musicals.
things, and I thought I think that's cool.
Well, we've got one classic from Jessica, and we've got one used to be a classic, maybe not so much anymore, but could be a cult movie. I think it might fall into
absolutely.
Now. But you feel good about it, huh?
I feel good about it.
You'd watch it again.
I have to take a little bit to digest it.
Okay, so it's a classic, but maybe not a classic that you'd watch.
Okay.
Would you sit down and watch it if it was on TV?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
It's one of those, like, if I had the choice between, like, my favorite movies, I'm not going to pick that out. But if it's on, I'll be like, hey, let's watch Footloose. We got to watch Footloose.
Okay, so you're not going to, like, have a party and say, you know, everybody come, we're going to cut loose and watch Footloose.
I mean, well, that actually does sound fun.
Why not? Okay. Well, I was looking at our stats, and we're actually, for being a tiny little podcast with the two of us and only 3 episodes, we're actually doing pretty good on the download. So we want to say thank you to everybody who's listened. I imagine some of those are your friends. So
thank you to all my friends who have been listening. I love you dearly. If you actually
to you talk with your old man.
My friend actually said that he listened, he turned it on for 5 minutes and then fell asleep. So you know who you are. Thanks.
Was that
Appreciate
because
it.
of me?
No, he just was tired that
night. He was just tired? I know that I can bore people. So.
But yeah, to all my friends, thank you so much.
And the one who fell asleep, I'll find out who you are.
Please, Dad, please don't say that.
Okay. Well, hey, you know what? We already hinted at that we have a movie already selected for our next episode. We're going to go ahead and tell you what that is.
It is.
It is the Robert Zemeckis classic.
Who Framed?
Which I believe it is a classic because it is
Can't
groundbreaking.
Even get
and it is
the
Who Framed
Roger Rabbit
is what we're doing next time. So stick around for that in the next week or so. And once again, enjoy your movie watching. Find a family member to sit down and decide together if it is a classic. We will see you later.
See y'all later.